everyone, and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 3 of my best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now, before we get stuck into that, I just want to highlight your attention to another Hong Kong preview I've done with Shireen Wu, and also as well my co-host from the In the Saddle podcast, Mark Kroski. We were going through some of the key races for the racing at Happy Valley tomorrow. So if you want to watch that, just hit the link in the description box below, and that will take you to Shireen's channel. We actually teamed up with her on Sunday to go through the 4 Group 1s at Sha Tin on the international meeting, and we actually had some good success from that preview, as I put up Normcore, who won the Hong Kong Cup at 16-1, and the panel as well were all agreed on Mogul to win the Vase. So yeah, it was a good day on Sunday from our Hong Kong special, and if you want to hopefully find some winners there, just hit the link in the description box below. Also, before I get into those tips for tomorrow, quickly just want to recap on how our selections have performed today. At the current time of recording, I'm making this video just before 5 o'clock UK time. We do still have one more tip to run, which runs in the 7:40 at Wolverhampton tonight. That is Docte Dino for Tom Marquand and Tony Carroll. Been very well supported. We put it up at 6-4 last night, and I've seen today the money has continued to come for it. Lots of people have put it up because it looks like an obvious candidate on paper to go and win. And as a result, he is now a shade of odds on in places. So yeah, that's going to be the nap running at Wolverhampton later this evening. The other tip that has run for us today was disappointing. That was Getaway Fred, who wasn't unsupported in the market. There was some money for him at different times during the day today. I saw him at one point with one firm get short at 9-2, but to be fair, you could tell he was beaten from a long way out. He was jumping quite well for the first half of the race, but then when he went down the back straight on the second circuit, he really did get found out, and he just didn't have the gears to go with them. Not sure if it was the ground, Tizard form, could have been a mixture of all of those things, but I think it was quite a nice race really, and the winner of that race was a horse of Alan King's, is a former Grade 1 winner, won the Shallow Hurdle at Newbury back in 2016, and he was definitely the class act of the field, and in the end, yeah, our selection was well beaten. So yeah, no excuses there, and it continues our little frustrating run. Obviously, we were in really good form last week, but this week has been a little bit tricky for us. We haven't got off to the best of starts, but hopefully Dr. Nuno can give us something to boast about later on, and hopefully we can build on it later this week. So like I said, I've got 3 tips for tomorrow's racing, and I'm quite confident about all 3 of these. I think they've got very strong claims. I'm actually going to be going to Newbury for my nap tomorrow in the 110 for the Novices Limited Handicap Chase, and I'm going to go with St. Barts here for Dickie Johnson and Phil Hobbs. You can currently back this horse at the time recording with William Hill at 10-3. Now, I actually put this horse as my nap of the weekend a couple of weeks ago at Chepstow, but unfortunately he was declared a non-runner, apparently because of the going, but the going that day was very testing, and this horse loves testing ground. So yeah, not sure really what the reason was. If it was the going, maybe they just didn't want to give him a hard race, and they've got more targets later on for him later on this season, because I really do think this horse is quite an exciting chaser, and off a mark of 128 there's lots of potential and lots of scope to come from this mark. Now, he ran a really encouraging chase debut. I actually put him up that day as my next best at Exeter when he finished second to all of the gin joints, and he was actually inconvenienced quite a few times when travelling still very well, and he was a bit of an unlucky loser, I thought, that day when he finished second behind all of the gin joints from Colin Tizard's yard, and he was raised £3 by the handicapper as a consequence for that run. So he's now, like I said earlier, off a mark of 128, but he looks like a chaser in the making, and all of his best form came with some dig in the ground. He won a handicap at Ascot last season in bottomless ground, so the rain that's come around recently and will be probably falling tomorrow at Newbury is definitely going to be a benefit for him, you would think. Also as well, if you go back through some of his novice form last year, he's got some good form lines, including a good run behind Hurricane Harvey, who's now a Grade 2 winner. He won the December Novices Chase at Doncaster at the weekend for Fergal O'Brien. So there's some good form lines there with St. Barts, and I think at 10-3 tomorrow, that's really good value, and I think it'll be a lot shorter price come post time. Also as well, it's very well documented that Phil Hobbs has a really decent strike rate, at least at a level profit stakes as well, with his runners at Newbury. And for me, I think St. Barts tomorrow will take all the beating in this race, and I think there's bags of improvement to come off his mark of 128, and I'm really sweet on his chances. We then go to Ludlow for the 155 with a horse called Caid. You can currently back this horse at the time recording at 5-1 for Sam Twiston-Davis and Dr. Richard Newland. Now this horse, we know pretty much everything there is to know about him, but I thought he was now down to a really workable mark of 141. He actually won this race last year off a £3 higher mark, which suggests really he's quite well in here tomorrow, and he definitely probably brings a little bit of class to the table. Now his last effort saw him run at Aintree in the Grand Sefton, but you can definitely put a line through that. You can put a line for pretty much through any horse that never takes to Aintree. He never really liked the fences, and the trip was probably a little bit too far for him, so I would definitely put a line through that run. His other run on the seasonal reappearance at Ascot was a little bit more like it when he finished 4th there, and quite a nice little race which featured the likes of Amula Gold, Iblio, who ran not too badly behind Sky Pirate at Cheltenham, who was a winner for us there at the weekend. So he's got some good form there. And if you go back through his form generally, he's always ran in some decent handicaps. And I think his best optimum conditions are going right-handed, which he is tomorrow at Ludlow, and also as well this trip. And he can cope now with the soft ground as he's got a bit older. Probably when he was younger, he probably wanted it on a slightly decent surface, the ground, but the ground at Ludlow should be no problem for him. And Dr. Richard Newland's horses have been running well. He's been operating at a 26% strike rate, 5 winners from 19 runners in the last 2 weeks. So I think there's a lot to like about this horse's chances tomorrow, and I thought 5-1 was a big price, and I can see no reason why this horse can't go in again. So for me, Caid is going to be my next best of the day, and I expect him to go very close there at Ludlow. We then stay at Ludlow for the Lady Amateur Rider race in the 305, and I thought Docte Dino could be a good one here for Harriet Tucker, claiming 7, and she's riding for Nicky Henderson. Now Harriet Tucker is actually a very good amateur rider. You might remember she actually won the Fox Hunters aboard Pasha de Polder at the 2018 Cheltenham Festival, where I think she actually broke her arm came out of her socket, if I remember correctly, out of her shoulder blade when she was in the race, and as a consequence we didn't see her after that for quite a while. But she's come back in the last couple of months and has been having a few winners here and there, and out of the lineup in this field, you would say that she's probably one of the more promising that could probably turn professional, and she's able to claim a handy £7. Now this horse ran an encouraging reappearance at Wincanton last time out behind a Phil Hobbs horse, who subsequently went on to win at Fontwell and defied a penalty. And this is going to be the horse's second run after a wind-up, which is another angle I like, and a lot of people like that angle there. And you can currently back this horse at 4-1, and off his mark of 110, I think he's very capable, or this mare I should say, is very capable of winning a race of this nature. And Nicky Henderson does very well at Ludlow. He's got a very good strike rate there, so that's another positive there, and I think there's a lot more to come from this horse. And with the experience that Harriet Tucker's got, and probably one of the more classier riders in this field, I think there's a lot to like about the chances tomorrow, and that horse is going to be my extra tip of the day. So quickly just run through them then. In the 110 at Newbury tomorrow, that's going to be my nap. That is St. Barts for Dickie Johnson and Phil Hobbs at 10-3. The next best comes in the 155 at Ludlow with Caid at 5-1. And the extra tip of the day runs in the 305, Docte Dino for Harriet Tucker and Nicky Henderson at 4-1. So they're the 3 best tips for tomorrow's racing. Let me know in the comments box below what horses take your fancy tomorrow and what you'll be backing. Also as well, if you're enjoying these videos, please remember to subscribe here to my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaders15. And if you're enjoying them as well, please remember to give us a thumbs up. If you want to follow me on social media, the best place to do so is on Twitter, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.